I want to talk about certain skill sets that companies also or interviewers also like to focus on. Okay. Um, but before that, I just want to kind of summarize quickly with certain things. So data science, you will keep hearing these words, big data. Big data is large volume of data, which is categorized by three V's, as we say: volume, variety, velocity. Volume meaning very, very large volume. Okay, I don't want to go. I mean, you can't even imagine whatever data we have so far seen, is going to be doubled in the next just few months and so on and so forth. So volume of data is increasing. I mean, you all can see that how many smartphone users do we have in this bunch. If there are 100 people attending today's session, everybody would have at least one smartphone, is what I like to think, right? And smartphones means, remember that smart diagram that I showed you of smart product, which generates data. All these smartphones generate, each app that is there in your smartphone generates data. That data needs to be stored. So that data is getting generated. Why? Because we want to be able to make decisions out of those data. So there's an explosion of data. Explosion. I don't think anybody would have question on that. We are living in an age where data is driving all the decisions that we see, and so data is exploding right now. So big volume of data, variety, images, pictures, images, videos, transactional data. Transaction data is things that, you swipe a credit card or you buy something, you pay someone, any kind of structured data that gets generated automatically is called as transactional data. So you got flat files like images, you got video files, you got these transactional data, which are database files, which are very easily handled using SQL. And then velocity, with the speed. You keep hearing that India is adding. One of the very recent reports that I heard was that India is adding one Australia every month in terms of smartphone users, which is an interesting fact to know. Okay. So look at the market opportunity. I don't understand why people go to Australia then. I mean, such small population, how much can you really do, really? I mean, think about it. India is adding such great, massive opportunity right over here. India, China. China added that, gave that opportunity in the last 8, 10 years. So a lot of Chinese people made a lot of money out of that. Commercial success, otherwise as well. Um, Data management, data mining, um, just data handling, right? Retrieve data using SQL, visualizing the data using Tableau, Spotfire, ClickView, Power BI, and whatnot. Cleaning, deduplicating the data, merging, demerging the data. All these things are very, very important. Here, the tools that are, and you see, any data science project which is human driven, in that project, normally 2/3 of the time goes into this, into ensuring that the data is in a format and in a stage which can then be analyzed. I get a point. So 2/3 of the time. That also means that there is a big opportunity here also. So a person, let's say, who does not even understand a lot of statistics, for example, maybe you you were like many of the people that we meet, that sir, I never liked statistics in my life. I mean, I have a message for them. I also did not like statistics too much in my school days, but I remember in my masters, in my engineering also, uh, because when you start growing up, when you have matured a little bit, statistics is a very application oriented thing, right? I still remember one of the professors had asked in one of my very initial statistics class in my engineering on my postgrad. He said that on a foggy day, if there are less number of accidents, does it mean that the government should come up with a circular or a notice on the newspaper that, boss, please take out your cars and start driving recklessly or as you feel on foggy days? Why? Because the data says there are less number of accidents. I get a point. A very simple thing. The data is saying less number of accidents. Statistics is showing less number of accidents. But here we are missing out on a lot of parameters. Maybe there are less number of people on road. Maybe people are more conscious. They're driving slower. They're following rules more often in foggy days, right? They're not drinking and driving, or they're not talking to their girlfriend while driving on a foggy day. they're not talking on the phone, they're not checking their messages because they're very, very conscious. And hence there are, because more people are careful, less people are there on the road, and hence there are less number of accidents. I get what statistics gives you, that application behind any decision, reason behind any decision. So now if you study statistics, once you have become an adult, you will, even though you might not have loved it in your school time, but now you'll really love it if you learn it not as a theory subject, but as a application subject. I don't think there is any other subject in modern time which can give you that much of leverage plus that much of satisfaction to know the reason behind anything that is happening. Okay, so learn statistics with an with a view of applying it, and that's how most of our professors, I like to say that they teach statistics. So here tools like SQL, our old tool Excel, very important, because remember the senior managers do not understand anything but this. Your client CEO will not have R on his machine, Python on his machine, may not even have Tableau on his machine, but he will always have Excel. If you are, I mean, when we do data science for leaders workshop, where training people who have 20 years of experience, domain experts and whatnot, directors, senior directors, CXO level folks, the only worry is that please do not talk in terms of R or Python. Please talk in terms of Excel. You tell us anything to do in Excel, we'll be happy to do it, but don't go beyond it. You see, so Excel then becomes any report that you finally end up creating generally is created on Excel. Okay, so Excel is very, very important tool to know. R, Python, Tableau for visualization and so forth. Analytics, which is kind of machine learning only. I mean,
second point is also called data mining, right? I mean,
this is data mining. When we say data mining, right, which is again a very, very old technique or terminology that we've been using since the time when we started using computers, because computers gave birth to structured data, right? And when there was data, you have to mine. When I say mine, that means you're looking for patterns, you're looking for information inside a lot of data, right? So that's called as mining. Data mining is done using SQL, has been done traditionally using SQL. So yeah, data mining is also part of the same branch here. Anyway, analytics, machine learning, they are now kind of the same. Analytics is part of machine learning only, because in analytics we used to say statistics, which is analyze. Okay, so which is called as analytics, is the word which came in mid 2000s again. Again relies on past data, descriptive, why whatever has happened, uh, predictive, what could happen in the future, prescriptive, what actions to take. So it's kind of inclusion of all these three types of statistical concepts that we talk of. Very important that you understand the application level statistics. Okay, I would recommend, if you can, you should go into the equations of it as well and understand the equation properly as well. But let's say even if you're not able to understand equation very, very thoroughly of a particular technique, let's say you're working on random forest, there is a technique, there is an equation. I would recommend you to know the actual equation, do a little bit of research on it. The more the better. But let's say you do not end up understanding the equation properly, even though you understand the application very well, it's all right, because the tools are there, the services are there, which can help you run decision tree, create decision tree without really understanding a lot of details of it. I would recommend you, if you can, you should, you must know the details as well. So machine learning, again, you applies these statistical techniques. The only difference here is that in machine learning, we build these algorithms, statistical techniques into a machine, and we make it capable to keep learning. That means keep reading the data and keep running these algorithms and keep learning by itself. Okay, so there are specific algorithm there which helps the machine to learn by itself. Okay, so that makes computers use statistics to learn by itself, and that's when we say, hey, this is a machine learning. Or some examples: Google Ads, search recommendations. So for deep learning, multiple layers of neural network working together, and artificial intelligence, you can say, kind of encompasses everything. Remember, visualization is also very, very important uh, concept that you must have as a data scientist.